Okay, I'm just setting the live stream up, so bear with me. Okay, I'm trialing something in this live stream as well for the first time. So you should be able to see a link at the bottom left. So I'll write a note to do with that. I'm trialing a Ko-fi overlay. Okay, so if I pin the message for that. Right, first things first. So Jacob says hi. Hi Jacob. I'm going to go and work through the startup procedure for the aircraft before we do anything. So if you'll bear with me for a moment. So we're going inside the airplane. I'm not going to turn the head tracking on just yet. So Control 6, we're going to turn the batteries on. So don't worry, the sound is normal. Okay, now we've got the batteries on. We do need the tablet momentarily, so we need to go back in here, get rid of the covers from the propellers and the wheel chocks. And then brighten up the EFIS display. Then down on the center pedestal, turn the IRS knobs to nav to give it time to align. APU section, open the air inlet for the APU, start the APU. We can press Control 2 and we can watch the RPM of the APU increase. So we're waiting for that. I'll keep an eye on the live stream. So Daniel says hi. Hi Daniel. Okay, so we have the APU up and running. So once we've done that, we can go back overhead and cross-feed the power over to use the APU, and then put all the transfer switches on to allow that power to be used by the rest of the aircraft. So then we go to the anti-collision lights and turn them on. Go down to the main panel, put the master start switch down, turn the bleed air on from the APU. Pull both of the idle levers back. Okay, so we'll do the right engine first. So we turn the fuel pumps on, then we hit the starter for the right engine, and then we can come down here and we can see the RPM increasing of the right engine when it gets to 2000 RPM. So we can see this happening from outside. What's the sound looking like? Can you hear it? Let's turn it up a bit so you get to hear it as well. So it's just come through 2000 RPM, so we can advance the fuel condition lever, which will bring fuel into the engine. Obviously the RPM then increases significantly. When it comes to about 8000 RPM, we'll push the fuel condition lever all the way forwards. Okay, then we can get on with the other engine. So that's a good point actually. I'm just going to check. Engine 2 start can come to off now. Oh, it does that on its own, so Control 6. We can put the generator on while I think of it, otherwise I'll forget. So we started the right engine, didn't we? So generators 3 and 4 can come on. And come down here. We've got the fuel pumps on for engine number 1. We're going to start engine number 1. Come down and look, and you'll see the RPM increasing for engine number 1 now. See the propellers starting to turn over there. So again, as it comes through 2000 RPM, I'm just following the instructions in the various notes for the aeroplane. So fuel condition lever comes forwards. The RPM should continue increasing. We're waiting for that. Let's have a look at the live stream chat. Always glad when the jump light turns to green. Oh, there we go, that's that done. So we are going to do an airdrop during the flight, so we'll pick somewhere nice in the mountains to drop our troops. Okay, so that's that engine up and running. So if we go and look overhead, we can go and turn on the generators for that engine as well. Oops, too far. And then we can switch off the generator from the APU and come back down into the cockpit and turn the bleed air off, stop the APU and close the air inlet for the APU. So that's all done. Of those, yeah, those fell back to the middle on their own, didn't they? That's changed in design. I'm not sure if it's correct at the moment because you don't have to lift the covers to operate them. So master ignition system can go to off now. We can power on the flight management system. We're not going to be using guidance, we're just going to be visual all the way. So the IFF can go to norm. Overhead, the position lights can go to on. And the taxi light, which is here, go to on. Okay, so which way are we taking off today? Let's go and have a look on the map. So we're taking off northerly, so we're going to be turning right out of the parking spot. So let's turn head tracking on, release the parking brake, flaps for takeoff. Calibrate the altimeter while we're here. Let's just go over to the taxiway. So this is just stock scenery here. Let's go and... So yeah, we will be dropping some troops. We've got some in the back. If I go and, well, we're just trundling along. If I press Alt and 2, we can see we've got some troops sat there in the back and some cargo. So Joseph says it's his first live stream. So welcome to the live stream, Joseph. So I've set the weather to, it's live weather, but I've moved the time to 9 o'clock in the morning so we can actually enjoy the scenery as we fly through the hills, or the mountains I should say. So we will be taking off and then doubling back. Okay, let's have a little look at the map and see where we are. We're just turning back over Aix Les Bains, and then we'll carry on down south, go over Chambray, round the corner, over Albeville, and be on our way. Taxi light can come off, can't it? It would help if I could click accurately with the mouse. That's 4 goes in a row. I give up. Here's the mouse roller, which then goes and controls. This is the problem with head tracking and small click spots. No matter how close you get to something, it can cause havoc. Anyway, let's go and get rid of the tablet for the moment so we can enjoy the view along the way. So something we could do, if I just bring this round in a fairly straight line as we fly along here, I'm going to put the autopilot on, so I'm just going to trim the airplane out fairly straight. So we engage the autopilot. We go for heading hold, even, and altitude hold. So that will keep us flying straight along this valley. So then, if we have a bit of fun with this, we can go into here and we could open the doors. So if we go down here, obviously we've got the heat from the engine pouring out, which isn't helping. Yeah, we get to stand in the doorway watching the scenery go by. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Right, should we go back in the cockpit and close that door and get rid of the tablet for the moment. Disengage autopilot. Get rid of the warning that we've just done that, and we're going to turn around the hill here. Push on a bit with the speed. So I'm just checking the controls. Let's keep an eye on, if I push this up, where we are on the map. So we're broadly following the route. So we're coming up to Albertville next, then up to the base of Mont Blanc, and we'll skip around the outside of Mont Blanc and go up over Sion, or Sion, sorry. Get the pronunciations correct. So let's level out a little bit. I guess I'm just trying to think where we could drop the troops over Sion, couldn't we? So we'll wait till we get up there. It is great fun watching them come out of the back. about to pass over the top of Albertville. So there's the airfield, and there's the actual town down in the foot of the mountains there. Should we follow the river? Snow is appearing. The weather engine has decided that it's cold enough to be laying snow on everybody's roofs, on the footpaths. So, are we going up through this pass here? I'm guessing we are. Yeah. It's a church. So we just zigzag through but keep a fairly straight line. Follow the hill. So when you get unsighted from the horizon, obviously you have to start relying on the attitude indicator and the various instruments. I think we're wanting to take the right side of this hill, not carry on up there. Just looking at the map there. Yeah. Can we move the camera through the glass? No, we can't. That's a shame, isn't it? But we can at least, yeah, put it there so we can See where we're going. There's our shadow down there. Someone's asking if I bought anything in the Black Friday sale. There wasn't anything out that I didn't already have, is the truth. Well, not aeroplane-wise anyway, or things I'm interested in. There's a lot of helicopters I don't own, but I don't really have much interest in helis, so couldn't see much point in that. Okay, so we're going to follow this round in between here and then round the back of here. So, Mont Blanc is on our left. I guess that's the peak up there. It's quite a big, massive rock here, isn't it? Let's have a quick look at that map. So yeah, around the back of Mont Blanc you've got Chamonix, which is around this corner. So this is like a much higher bank angle than it is, just because of the landscape. 3% transmitter on, and people can see where I am. We should get a red aeroplane. There it is, following our yellow aeroplane now. So there's Chamonix below us. Should we look from the outside view? Follow along the valley here till we get to the end, then we go left and around. Tinted windows are a bit interesting, aren't So yeah, the person that's bought the CWK-19, that you've bought the RV-14, that's a fantastic aeroplane. It's very, very good. There's a load of aeroplanes in the marketplace that are really massively reduced, aren't there, at the moment? They're down to a couple of pounds each, or a few dollars each. Something of a tight turn coming up, so we're going to stay to the left side, anticipating where it might be. Is it past this ridge? Let's have a look at the map. Yeah. I think it might be in here. Just looking at the contours. It's here, isn't it? Okay, here goes nothing. We're doing 250 knots. Speed is our friend with dangerous things like this. We're going to go for the top of the glacier here. Down to 200 knots and falling. .190 knots and falling. There's a view you don't see every day. What direction are we supposed to be going before we go too much further? Yeah, we should have turned back on ourselves. We would never have made that turn in this aeroplane, so we're going to go back down there. You can see the clearing. That's Austria, we can see directly ahead of us. We have the option of cutting off to the left of it through the hills to get back to where we were supposed to be going. So Ghost is asking if this plane is good. It's pretty good. Just recently they've improved it, so it's actually, if I go and show you, it's got its military navigation system. I've not filled it in for this flight, but it does work. It's quite limited, but it's quite good fun. You as you'll see in a few minutes, I'm going to do a troop drop. So let's just zigzag through these hills and get back onto the route we were supposed to be following. Assuming we double back here. Yeah. I can never get over how much detail there is, like all these cottages in the trees. Or cabins, I should say. It is amazing, isn't it? Okay, we're back on track. So, is this the run-in to drop the troops? It is indeed. So, what we're going to do is open the ramp. He says, famous last words. Put the aeroplane, we want to slow right down, don't we? So let's go and engage autopilot while we're slowing down. So we've got heading hold, we've got altitude hold on, and we're icing up, which is not good fun. Where are the icing controls in this thing? Fuel transfer. I'll have to turn the head tracking off to do this. De-icing. Better. Okay, how's the speed doing? So if we go and have a look outside now, see there's the troops in the back. A bit glitchy with the animations, but it's pretty good. Okay, that's the troops dropped. So we want to go and close the canopy again. Oh, sorry, the door, I mean. The autopilot back off, and tracking back on, get rid of the tablet. What? Okay, we need to get rid of the warning light because we were on autopilot. So now we're going to carry on up to Innsbruck. So to play a little bit with the aeroplane now, I guess we could put the flight plan in and straight line this rather than fly the valleys. So we took off from LFLB, we're going to Lowy. So we'll let it continue climbing for the moment. We'll go and switch on the autopilot. Oh, actually, before we do that, okay, so we want to go down, so from LFLB, so L, F, L, B, to Lowy, L, O, W, I, enter. So then if we go and switch the guidance to GPS and look down here, we should be able to see HSI. I might have to zoom out, I guess. Arc mode, there we go. So if you look at this, our actual direction of travel, that makes no sense actually. So if we take our waypoints out of this, we should be approaching the line. Although this tends to show from where you are, it's a really odd system. Zoom out some more. Yeah, I don't think it understands because we were in the air when we switched it on. Just checking that I haven't done anything bizarre with it. Oh, there we go. I had it on the wrong mode. So if we put some, we can't put waypoints in en route, unfortunately. It's not clever enough to do that. We could take over, if we did the GNS 430, that would allow us to put some proper waypoints in. So if we do that, it's up here, isn't it? Just have to wait for it to boot up. So let's put this on altitude hold mode for the moment. So you'll see the nose come down. Transmitting, so if somebody wants their 5 minutes of fame again. Okay, so we're going to go and program this into the GNS 430 instead. LFLB. Lowy. Actually, we could, rather than do that directly, we could just go and put some intermediate waypoints in as well, couldn't we? Just to make it a bit more fun. Although that will take us straight there, so we can just admire the scenery on the way, can't we? Yeah, let's do that. So you can see the track is over there, so if we increase the range, you can see it. We put ourselves on a heading intercept. So So this is on heading hold at the moment. If we go do that and spin the heading, we'll want this to be on HSI mode though, for that to make any sense. Then put it back on map mode. Yeah, we've already crossed over it, look. I'm a bit behind the game at the moment. You can see what's happening, look. We're about to cross straight over. Let's see where we're going, make sure we're not going to hit anything. So let's see how this handles it actually. If we go to radio mode on the autopilot, it should track the nav signal. So radio's there. We've got it switched to GPS already. Is it clever enough? No. I think you have to get it into the ballpark first. It won't perform wonders. So let's take ourselves up to 18,000 feet, shall we? So all we should have to do that is come into here and put in altitude 18,000. Let's keep an eye on the vertical speed. Is it going to do it? It's a so-and-so with this. You have to have it. It's in altitude hold at the moment. I think you have to have it selected and then key it. So let's try that again. Climbing yet? Or we may have to give it more power to allow it to do it. I think it sets the bug at the point you do it. Yeah, so giving it more power is allowing it to climb. Famous last words. Yeah, it's been real. Like I said, it's buggy. So if we take that back off, put 18,000 back in, over the top, and turn it on, you usually see the trim wheels come to life, if it's going to do it. But nav is working now, look. So is that on radio mode? Yes, it is. It's not climbing wonderfully well, but that's probably to do with the high altitude. Could put a waypoint in, couldn't we, if there are any up here? And there aren't. There's some in the hills over here, but I was really looking for something over here. There's a GS608 there, but we're almost on it already. Yeah, it doesn't want to climb, does it? How strange. Our, that should be 1013 now. I'm not sure it has approach mode. I'm just reading the comments on the live stream. So it has nav mode, or it has radio mode, so that will only do lateral navigation. It won't do approach because it hasn't got it. Hitting the speed limiter, aren't we? Right, I'm going to take it off with autopilot. Like I said, the autopilot's a little bit buggy. It kind of works. There is a cheat autopilot in here where you can just tell it vertical speed mode, for example. So we could turn that on, look. We could put vertical speed mode on. It won't do it, look. allow it. Rainbow and huge rainstorm and presumably a hailstorm given the temperatures up here. I just don't think it likes operating at these altitudes, that's all. We can use the GPS at least to know if we're near the track, which is good. Doesn't look real, does it? It's bizarre. Are we heavy? Yes, we are. We've got a fair amount of stuff in the back. I think press Alt and 1. Oops, no. Alt and 2, sorry. We've got some packages in the back. Yeah, I wonder if the weight is playing into the autopilot behaviour. It might do. How far are we out from Innsbruck now? About 100 miles or so. About half an hour away. Did this give us a map or anything? It does. Oh, that's quite useful, isn't it? Very cool. Ah, can we superimpose the route? Oh no, it's just our track that we've been on. Or does it just do that anyway? No, it's just our track. What about... what does that do? No idea. It's worth having though. Trying to think if there's an easier way to get there. We could double out and go over Liechtenstein. Otherwise we could go quite a long way south, go over Shutdown and follow the valley. But I think it's more fun picking our way through the peaks, to be honest. I guess we could just manually fly it up to the appropriate altitude we want to get to, and then use heading hold and altitude hold. If it's going to struggle to get there on its own, we'll just force it up there. Let's go full power. That's 13,000 feet, 13 and a half. feet, 14 and a half, 15,000, and we're going into cloud, which means we won't be able to see the mountain tops. Great. So I think this is the wisest decision, is to go for altitude. There are storms in the lower valleys as well, which isn't really recommended. And if we go straight to that cloud, are we going to get iced up like a snowball? We might have to go out for like 22,000 feet at this rate. Maybe 25 even. Well, looking at the speed we're holding on to, let's go and increase our climb rate. We can trade some speed for altitude. It's 19. Still climbing at 5,000 feet a minute. I think that much is going to be enough, isn't it? So altitude hold. Am I on VATSIM? No, I'm not. Oh, I do have an account on VATSIM, if that's what you mean, but I very rarely use it because I just don't have the time to set it up properly and get sorted. I'm always doing 10 other things. Not the least of which is recording. So. Okay, so let's see where we are on the route. So if we go and use, because we're on heading hold, or we're on heading hold or heading selected mode, we're on heading hold mode. So we need to be careful. You've got the heading bug there, which is just off to the left, which is fine. Just moving a little bit more. And we'll go for selected heading mode now then. So I'll press the button on the autopilot. And the aeroplane is gently banking left. And we'll go radio mode, which will do GPS. Notice, like many of the other radios, you can do heading select and radio at the same time. And when it acquires the track, it will drop heading select and just stay on radio. As you can see at the moment, we are not on the track. And the wind appears to be pushing us as well. So what we'll do, turn the aeroplane more into the track to allow it to acquire it. Okay. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? first bit. Obviously we can have a look on the map and look what the elevations look like. I don't think we're in trouble. Yeah, we're quite comfortably ahead or above what we want to be at. We're at 20,000 feet, so let's put that on the map to give it some context. Oops. There we go. So easily above the peaks. Let's hope it's clear on the descent into Innsbruck. So we're about 60 miles out, 70 miles out, something like that. According to the elevation plot on the route, there's no mountains above 12,500 feet on the route. So we could start descending down. Should we just ask the aeroplane to do it and see if it will behave itself? If we go for 12,500. Doing it, look. So it's going to fly down to 12,500 and then it will light back up on altitude hold. It's going to come down at 1,000 feet a minute. So we're going to descend into the unknown, trusting in the instruments and the navigation plot from LittleNavMap. I'm not quite happy about us taking so long to get onto the track though, so I'm going to turn into it a bit more. So we've got heading select and radio on. So as soon as it acquires the track it should turn right. And we can now see Lowy. Obviously we can manipulate the range as we get closer. Lowy has... yeah, it does have a glide slope, so the wind is obviously where we are. It's showing 53 knots from the north, but down at the airfield level it's 60 degrees, 5 knots. So it's coming in, it's only 5 knots, so we may even be able to get in with coming in with only 4 or 5 knots. It's about 8 knots is the limit for most aeroplanes, isn't it, of tailwind before you start to worry. I was just thinking, if it is clouded up when we get there, we've also always got the option of following the ILS in. We'll see. It could be we get to the other side of this hill and there's no weather around to worry about. Should we tune in the radio beacon at Innsbruck? Is there a VOR down here? There isn't, is there? The nearest one is this Kempton one, 10840. Should we do that just for a laugh? Something to do on the way. So let me just scoot around the cockpit slightly. Whoops. So what did we say it was? 10840. So that's reading the distance to it, and one of these needles should have come alive, and it hasn't. Ah, VOR1, there we go. Should we pull up this one on the VOR2? Or we could do it on VOR1, I guess. 11705. 117. 050. Enter. We should have both needles alive now. What's the range on it? 40 miles, oh, that's why. It's further than 40 miles away. Yeah, 55 miles out. Oh, that's a shame. What do I think of the C160? I think it's really good. The guidance is a bit patchy, as you've seen. This is a little bit limited if you use the military guidance system, but it does have this option of overriding it with a GNS 430, which is obviously very, very good. So if we increase our range on this slightly, we should be able to see there's Innsbruck coming up. Got a message, set course, yeah, blah blah blah. There's that the VOR that we were just using that was too far away to get a signal from. There's the one we were getting a signal from. This didn't descend, did it? Altitude 12,500. Oh, it's probably because it would overspeed if it... Yeah, let's pull the speed back. And it will allow it to descend. I'd forgotten that. It's quite basic the way this aeroplane works. So let's reduce the range on the map display. We can get the METAR from Innsbruck, but we can also just hover over it. If we hover over accurately. There we go. So, just reading down through it, 20,000 feet scattered, 3,000 feet broken, 5,000 feet. There's cloud and cloud and more cloud, basically. Not great, is it? QNH 1010 at ground level. So, if we're having to do this by hand, once we get over the top of Innsbruck, what we could do is fly away on the radial of the same as the... This is all fairly flat here, look, the hills on this area aren't too bad, so we could turn around. So airfield elevation is 1,900 feet. So we want about 4,000 feet over here, and then we'll tune the radios in. We could do it now. We're on GPS guidance 11110. So back into here. 11110. Enter it in. So Nav1 will now be showing us the autopilot. The ILS. 254 degrees on the course. So let's switch this over to show the HSI. We want the course to show 254, if I can get it to the mouse to appear. The only complaint with this thing is the click spots are very small on some of the instruments. So that's now aligned to the runway direction, so relative to us we would be doubling back on ourselves, which we already know. Are we going to do a visual circle and land in Lowy? Sorry. I think it depends on the visibility. As you can see, at the moment, it's not great. We're still descending though, he says. We were descending, we're at 12,500 feet, that's what our target was, wasn't it? Keep an eye on it, and we'll hopefully survive. Let's put this on altitude hold mode. If you cycle it, it will just hold at the altitude it's at, which is fine. So we want to descend to about 4,000 feet, but not yet. We can see where we are on the map. We've got the ILS already tuned in. About 30 miles, 25 miles from Innsbruck now. The mountains are somewhere below us. Oh, we're getting gaps in the cloud. We might be lucky, you know. So we're coming through the worst of it. Looks like there's more the other side of there though. Well, there's only a 5-knot wind on at ground level for the approach, just reading the live stream comments there. So you can get away with 5-knot tailwind. We'll check it again when we're overhead, just to make sure. So we're doing lateral navigation via the GPS at the moment, straight towards Lowy or Innsbruck. But when we fly over Lowy, I guess we continue, yeah, we'll shave the side of this hill and then loop back in and come in on the ILS. That would make sense, wouldn't it? But maybe we've got better visibility a bit lower down. I have a horrible feeling this is going to be like this all the way, and this is going to be essentially a precision approach, which is not going to be fun, not with hills so near. So we may have to fly a given air bearing, and we're going to have to factor the wind in as well. So 70 degrees, we're probably looking at 65 to 60 degrees to counter the wind. And here goes the rain. See, this is the thing I didn't understand looking at this the other day. This is on GPS though, isn't it? If we go to VLOC now, and will this go to heading hold? Yes, it's gone to heading hold, which is great. So if we go to heading select, I think it will center the bug up. I'm going to cheat slightly so I don't have to worry so much about this. I'm going to use I've got a Stream Deck here with some buttons on it which will control the autopilot without me having to lose time. So I'm just moving the heading bug to about 65 degrees to get the airplane to follow it. So there's Lowy. Let's come off the autopilot then. So now we're going to hold that heading and descend along the valley over Lowy. We'll get the landing lights on as well. Not that they're really going to do much. So we're coming down about 4,500 feet, 5,000 feet a minute at the moment. We don't need to be coming down quite so quickly. So this is in HSI mode. We're right over the top of Innsbruck. To lose some speed, so I'll keep the engines low. And we've picked up the ILS beacon at the other side now. This distance makes no sense. I think this might be a bug in the aeroplane, to be honest. Unless we try putting the ILS code in on... I don't know. So we want to be down to 4,000, don't we, before we turn back. And the trouble is we've got no distance measuring, so we may have to just judge it from this and make sure we're out here before we turn back. We could use the glide slope, so as soon as it's above us we know we're far enough away. It's kind of a good way to hack it. So we're going to level out now. Look, we're down to 4,000, which is about what we wanted. So we'll keep flying away until we are now below the glide slope. That's interesting. That's happened quicker than I thought it would. So we're off to the right of the beam. Trouble is, it's an offset ILS here as well, isn't it? So I'm going to turn right first to give myself a bigger turning angle, and then do quite a steep turn in towards the ILS. Going to hold the same altitude. Yeah, look, here's the hills on the right side. So I think we'll have no trouble seeing the runway. We'll see it probably from a mile out or so. There's the centre line, we've just flown over the top of it. So we've gone off to the right. I had no idea this weather was going to do this on the way in, but it gives us something to do, which is always fun. Okay, so then we just straighten up on an intercept course. And we're now waiting for the glide slope to come in. So this is very ponderous at turning, this aeroplane, isn't it? Let's slow ourselves down a bit. I'm lifting the nose a little bit, A, to bleed some speed off, also to acquire the glide slope, and then we can just manage it on the way in. So the CDI is just coming in down here. I'm just going to press F12 a couple of times. This is being a real pain. In fact, I'm going to turn off head tracking because there's no point being able to see outside. Yeah, we can see the ground. So that's all I was looking for. So, nose up. Here comes the glide slope. So it is an offset ILS, you have to remember. So we'll see how we get on. Remember, the wind is pushing us as well, I'd forgotten that. Gone above the glide slope, but we can see the ground, so it's not a major issue. That's the runway. It's gone back out of view again in the cloud, but we know we're kind of on track. Keeping an eye on the glide slope here and the CDI here and the airspeed. We should be good. We now have the PAPI lights, so we know we're too high, so we're going to drop the nose a little. There we go, 2 whites, 2 reds. Now we've got 3 reds. Now full flaps, and that's kicked us way into the air, look. This thing generates a lot of lift. And the wind is changing direction as we come down, which isn't helping. Okay, we're down. Panic over. Flaps up. And taxi in. So someone asked what I was using to control the simulator. I'm using an Airbus quadrant and stick, actually, a Thrustmaster one, which is a pretty good all-rounder. It's no good for fighter planes, so I can't use it for DCS. I really do need to buy a decent controller for DCS. There's a huge drop in the taxiway here, look. Very neat line in the snow they've cut there. Should we park near the cherry picker so we can use that to spray de-icer all over us? Okay. All we should have to do to shut the engines down on this is pull the fuel condition levers back. Right, and so ends the live stream. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to go and grab something to eat, and I'll see you again soon. Obviously we're getting the buzzer because we're just on batteries, so it's warning us as such. Obviously the generators are still running, so they think they are, so we could turn them off. If we wanted to get some power back to the aeroplane, we can either use the APU or we can go in and connect the ground power. I don't know if it draws a... yeah, it does draw a ground power unit. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So obviously then you can sit on batteries for as long as you like without killing them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So we successfully got into Innsbruck in some horrible weather. It's always a challenge, and I think it's always good fun when something unexpected like that happens. It makes you think on your feet a little bit more. So I'm going to go get something to eat, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care.